Youth crime is an increasing problem in this country and has occurred here in the borough of Hackney a large number of occasions. Young children and teenagers make up a quarter of the population in Hackney and are overrepresented both as perpetrators and victims of crime.
It is believed that Hackney has the highest rate of youth crime than any other London borough. Children as young as 12 and older are joining gangs and taking up a life of violence. The reasons that youths are joining gangs and committing crimes are many and varied. They may suffer from a troubled family life, such as neglect, abuse, and financial matters, leaving them into poverty and resorting to stealing, assaulting, and use of illegal weapons such as knives and guns. Some youths are forced into joining gangs because of peer pressure from their friends, or they could be influenced to join gangs by the promise of money, alcohol, or drugs. It is problems like this that lead antisocial behaviour in young children and teenagers. This is where a young man was stabbed to death while he was walking home. It was only yards away from where another youth crime incident took place.
I am here with police spokeswoman Carol Simmons. Carol, what happened exactly?
Well, at 8:26 p.m, police were called in after two teenage males were found injured. Both of them had been stabbed, and unfortunately one was pronounced dead at the scene. The other young man who was injured has been taken to hospital where he's in an unstable condition, and we don't actually think he's going to make it. Two men have been arrested in connection with this crime. The murder investigation is being led by the Homicide and Serious Crime Squad, and officers say they're keeping an open mind on the motive for this attack.
Were there any witnesses at the incident?
Yes, there were. Locals said they heard what sounded like fighting involving several people around the time of the incident, which was shortly before 8:30 p.m. One man in a local restaurant said he heard the stabbing happening shortly after another incident nearby. His words were, "Somebody has been stabbed, there was a big fight, I heard it was some sort of retaliation for something that had happened earlier on," but he couldn't provide any further details on that.
Had the victim's family been contacted?
Yes, the identification of the victims has taken place and next of kin have been informed.
The number of young people who are dying because of youth crime is increasing on an alarming scale. Do you think that the police will be prepared next time to tackle this situation?
Well, the police are doing all they can, but I honestly think the situation's going to get worse.
Alright, thank you for your time.
That's no problem, thank you.
I am standing in an area where youths have known to have hung out. They spray graffiti all over the walls of buildings. It is an act of vandalism, damage to property, mere adolescent behaviour. They do this because they think it's a cool idea. It is just few of the horrible things that they do to express themselves. They may also steal, assault, and even kill.
Hey, yo, man! What the? Oh, no! Stop, man! Stop! Stop! Ow! Ow! Help! What's wrong, man? What's up, man? Ow!
This park was where a young man was violently beaten by a vicious gang of youths. It has been reported that many more young girls are also becoming more involved in youth crime and joining gangs. They're often under the influence of alcohol, drug abuse, need of money, or just because they feel like it. They pick fights with random people for no rational reason, just simply because they want to fight anyone who's up for it. A lot of young teens are victims to this ongoing problem, which is costing their lives and ruining the lives of their family and loved ones.
Here is the home of Vicar Mr. Simon Boxall, whose adopted daughter Rosemary was killed. She was chased home by her two tormenting bullies who were supposedly her friends. Together they both repeatedly beat her up. They sprayed air freshener in her eyes, blinding her. She then leaped out of the bedroom window to her death. The two girls were both arrested shortly after. I am now going to speak with Rosemary's father, Simon.
Simon, how did the situation start?
Well, I understand that it all started with an argument over a boy. They chased her home and punched her and kicked her without mercy, and then shouted at her to, do you want to die? She tried to run away and basically jumped to her death out of the window, and the culprits shouted at her, serves you right, and tried to run away, but luckily they were arrested shortly afterwards. In my opinion, I don't think their sentences actually justifies what they did to her.
Do you think that there are ways to prevent this from happening to anyone else?
Well, perhaps. I think it's up to the parents, of course, to discuss and talk to their children about any possible issues. But it's also up to the schools to try to identify these issues and support parents.
If you had a chance to speak to her killers, what would you say?
Well, they've caused me and my wife unspeakable pain. But, I don't hold malice. I'm not angry. I'm a man of God, and I forgive them. But I really, their sentence, I still don't think it justifies the crime.
Thank you for this interview. I'm sorry for your loss. She was one of many youths who have died because of youth crime.
Joe Lappin was 16 when he was stabbed to death outside the Shrewsbury House Youth Club. He was set upon by a group of lads in an unprovoked attack. Joe was waiting with two friends for a lift home from his parents. There were 50 to 70 teenagers in the club at the time of the stabbing, and police appealed for them to come forward with information. Officers said that the group approached the three boys and chased them before the attack. Billy Box was only 15 when he was murdered on Valentine's Day. His killer shot Billy right on the doorstep of his house. He then left Billy to bleed to death. It was believed that Billy knew the killer in person, and that they both had gotten into an argument with the killer a few hours earlier. It was rumoured that the killer was involved in drug dealing. It is crimes like these that cause destruction, pain and fear for a lot of people, something that has to be done to stop it. There are youth workers, organisations and non-profit charities that aim to tackle youth crime, who support rehabilitation programmes and to put a stop to it once and for all.
So tell me, how does your organisation plan to reduce youth crime and to help leave youths on a more positive direction?
Well, we have arranged action plans for this sort of thing. We have also arranged hard labour patrols so that young offenders have the option of working long hours instead of going to prison. The chores that we have arranged include cleaning, gardening and construction work so that they can make up for the damage that they have caused.
I've also heard about some trips that they can participate in so that they can socialise a bit more. What's up with that?
Well, we've arranged activities for the young offenders to participate in so that they can collect a few new skills along the way and to also help develop their social skills with the outside world. They also can also see the benefits of leading a non-violent lifestyle.
Do you think that these efforts will have a good outcome?
Well, we have made some improvements, but many of the youths that we have tried to help just choose to get back into youth crime. A lot of them don't have any intention of changing their ways, but they all have the choice of whether they lead a non-violent lifestyle or not.
All right, thank you for your time.
No problem.
And so there you have it. Will youth crime be put to a stop? Can we live in a country where we don't have to be afraid of walking out of our own houses to walk around on the streets without being attacked? It is only something that you can decide. Make the right choices in life.